This week on Supercars Torque, Shane Van Gisbergen stamps his authority on the 2021 championship already. A good weekend of racing if you are a Shane Van Gisbergen fan. And to inflame some of the people who call me a Triple Eight lover, I've put on my Red Bull Formula 1 t-shirt. See how that goes down in the comments this week. First off though, I'll cover off some of the news items from during the week. Will First to Crash Into the Wall Brown for 2021. He has got WD-40 as the naming rights sponsor for at least Bathurst. That's going to be a rolling sponsorship deal, much like we have seen for Nick Percat for the last however many years, which funnily enough, Nick Percat, that R&J batteries is for the full season. Todd Hazelwood, though, will be on that kind of rolling sponsorship deal. But probably the bigger news is that we see a boosted Brody in the second Erebus car, and how good does that one look? That definitely challenges Chaz's car as the best looking one in the field, I reckon, considering how badly the Tickford and the Triple Eight versions of a boost car looks. Erebus has just knocked that one out of the park. That looks amazing. And I had an evil thought during the week of, I wonder which team is getting the bigger budget of that boost money. And also whether how the Brock Feeney money compares to, say, the Brody Kostecki money. Yeah, it would be very interesting to see the amount of those three sponsorship deals. And in other news, Nick Percat news, Dale Wood has signed on to co-drive with him in the endurance races, and that is a 2-year deal. Yeah, it's good news. As much as there's a lot of people out there who knock Dale Wood, he's not that bad, and he never really got a chance in a top-line car in the main game, and I think, as I'll get into later with Tim Slade, I think, he was definitely underrated. He was never going to win a championship, but if he was in better equipment, the results would have been better. Considering the equipment he was in during his main game career, he didn't do too badly. One other quick note I've got here about paint jobs, other than some of them actually looked better on track than what they did in the photos, and some probably looked worse. I'm looking at you, Triple Eight. There is something not right this year. I don't know. It doesn't work. And I had a few comments from people about, if Dick Johnson, if the shell had changed each year, would you call it, a crappy paint job? I'm not actually calling it a crappy paint job, and it works extremely well on, the sponsors are very easy to read, their cars stand out, and that I just find it a little bit plain. And funnily enough, I've got a lot of pictures over the years as my background on my computer, and one of the promo shots when they had the Sandown Retro round, and they had a shot of the red Shell Falcon next to the red Shell Sierra, and the logo was exactly the same size and all of that as what it is on the race car normally. And you go, yeah, there's a lot of Shell. This is how it has to look, the logo. Because I think they could tweak a little bit, make the shell actually bigger and put, the big shell down there, maybe a little V-power or something. I might, if I've got time, I might knock up a little, artist's impression and put it up there. I just think you could play around with a bit and make it pop a bit more. Anyway, enough about that. What I was thinking, what I wanted to comment on was how bad overall does the Super 2 and even Super 3 field look? Honestly, I don't expect much from the Super 3 field because they're essentially low budget, or they've got a paint job from what the car originally was and things like that. But the Super 2 field, just in general, just disappointing. Jaden Ojada's J-car, that's relatively smart. I mean, it's on an Altima, which most of the time the Altimas looked a little bit awkward. Other than that, I'm struggling to think of even just a reasonable looking car. The Ange Mazuris's pitbox car, that's all right. The rest is just, yeah. What were they thinking? Channel 7 has announced the 7 rounds that they are going to telecast live. And to all the people saying, oh, now I can't watch anything until June, well, they have got whatever delayed or highlights or whatever. If you don't want to spend a cent on your favourite sport, you can watch the rounds on Channel 7. It's just you get a bit of a cut and shut package rather than, the great package that you can get on KO. I'm paying $15 a month. And because I'm splitting that between people in my household, apparently, because I have to share my money with my wife, so it's split. It's $7.50 apparently. So those Channel 7 telecast rounds for this year, the live rounds, will be, of course, the Bathurst 500, Darwin, Townsville, the night race at Sydney Motorsport Park, the Bathurst 1000, and the Gold Coast finale. So not a bad bunch of races there as the live ones. And as I said, maybe Winton's a little bit boring. You get to watch it delayed. As long as you don't have Speed Cafe updates, that tell you every 5 seconds what's happening and who's won, and there's no spoiler alerts on their alerts. That's just bang, here is the news. If you have been out and wanted to watch the race later, you cop it. That you can't, here's the result kind of thing. If you turn off that kind of stuff, you will be fine to watch it a little bit later, I am sure. As I covered a little bit earlier, Will Brown was the first to hit the wall, and it was a big hit. They actually contemplated pulling the car from the weekend, but they did kind of get it within cooey of where it was supposed to be, and they plugged on. But that car, I don't think it's going to go into the scrap heap, but he will be using a spare chassis for at least the next round while that one goes off to get repaired. But he wasn't the only one to hit the wall. We also had Anton De Pasquale hit the wall. I nearly said Fabian Coulthard. Not Fabian Coulthard. He just didn't do anything all weekend. It was James Courtney who also hit the wall. And Tim Slade tried to do his best Mostert impression. And a lot of damage to that car. So they didn't partake in Sunday's race. They're also going to be using a spare car for the next race. What surprised me, though, the speed from Tim Slade. And he was in a genuine 4th position on that. Okay, granted, Waters had his power steering failure and that, but they had genuine pace all weekend. I'd basically written them off. I figured, him and LeBrock, they'll be, in the mid-teens all year, like meh kind of thing. But he made Courtney look average. Like, he was genuinely the second fastest Tickford car, and he wasn't that far behind Waters. Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of Tim Slade knockers over the years, a bit like as I was saying with Dale Wood before, and, I've tried to justify, really he did as good, if not better job in the Brad Jones cars as what Coulthard did, and say Jason Bright. So I maybe wouldn't put him on Jason Bright level, but he's definitely on Fabian Coulthard level. And he definitely showed it over the weekend. Well, over Friday and Saturday for 90% of the race. The last few laps, he was kind of crying in his hands. But these things happen, and let's just hope that that speed does carry on for the rest of the year, because it's great to see some different guys up there and, you know, some different guys showing good pace. Speaking of good pace, Chaz Mostert, all the talk of, you know, they're going to be up there and challenging and whatnot, they actually were. With what happened with Anton and Cam Waters, they were in second place, and they actually ended up only 1.4 seconds behind Shane. Now, granted, Shane was cruising and collecting towards the end, but that was... Chaz actually got out there and passed people, while all these other guys are going, oh, you can't pass, aero wash, blah, blah, blah. Chaz actually went and did it. So it shows if you have some kahunas and a bit of car pace, you can actually get through the field. What the big thing that surprised me at the end of the day was the gaps. It's Bathurst, it's a sprint round. You expect them to be a little bit spread out. But if you take Chaz out, Davison was 18 seconds down the track. Granted, Waters would have been up the front there as well, but, you know, and Anton. But, yeah, there was that late kind of safety car because of who... It wasn't that late. I'm trying to think. Was it... The safety car would have been for Anton having his crash, because they actually, you know, decided Slade's car was out of the way, so we didn't have a safety car right at the end. Maybe that would have spiced things up a bit. But there had been a safety car which did close it up a bit. But anyway, Davison was 18 seconds down the track. Frosty, he was another... I had Pye as dominating that teammate battle. Frosty ended up 30 seconds behind, and he was just in front of Bryce forward. So good job there from Bryce. And then it was just gap kind of thing, pretty much. Yeah, the front guys just seem to be a long way ahead. And yeah, then this is, yeah, Bathurst is not a place for a sprint round, really. A bit like Phillip Island, kind of, you know, they just spread out too much. And it's not that the guys weren't trying, because they all got out of the car and they were dripping wet. You could see how wet their suits were, and that, yeah, they were definitely working out there. It wasn't because they were just cruising and collecting. So Sunday was pretty similar to Saturday, except Cam actually made it to the end. Maybe they had a cooling parity adjustment overnight that no one talked about. We'll just keep that one under your hat so Roland doesn't crack the sads over that. As I've covered, Courtney had his crash. He's probably a little bit lucky the way he went in and just did a bit of as lucky as you can be, crashing into the wall at Bathurst. But the damage looked very cosmetic, so, you know, not too much trouble there. Chaz, once again, missed a pass a lot, and he did pressure Anton into making a mistake. That's why I'm giving... I think Davison will win that teammate battle over the year, because Anton just needs a little bit more time to grow. There's a big kind of uproar from Triple Eight, of course, because Cam impeded Chaz on his top 10 lap. So I don't know how this affects Triple Eight, but apparently Cam ran off on his cooldown lap after the top 10 shootout, dragged some crap debris onto the track, and when Chaz came through, he had a bit of a moment over it. Cam went and saw Beardo, got a slap on the wrist or whatever. He didn't realise that he'd done it or something. Apologised to Chaz straight away, and that was it. I assume we're going to have a rule in time before Sandown saying that you can't deliberately drive off the track and bring on, you know, rocks and debris and whatnot. It's just common sense, people. Why do we need a rule over, you know, and then what defines if it's deliberate or if it's an accident. Yeah. We're getting into, there's a little bit, just everything needs to be too analysed. And yeah, once again, of course, depending on which side of the fence you sit on, Cam's the worst person in the world for doing this, or Triple Eight are the worst people in the world for questioning it, kind of. Anyway, once again, Van Gisbergen won. Cam Waters came second. There's a bit of a... How did they come out behind Shane after the pit stops? Like, Cam, he won the start. He was leading, etc. He should have been fine. And then the first pit stop happened and Tickford did a Tickford thing and Van Gisbergen got the lead and was never seen again. Chaz ended up third, once again showing that genuine pace. Di Pasquale made it to the end. And my new best mate, Mark Winterbottom, that I was only bagging out about a week ago as being past it and whatnot, he ended up fifth. And Frosty is third in the championship. So in the championship, Shane Van Gisbergen on a perfect 300 points. Then we have Chaz in second on 267, Frosty in third, 231, Will Davison 225, and Jamie Winkup, I don't know, we call him the middleman or something, on 198, just, an accumulation of points. But you can already see, like Jamie's, that's, it's not even a race. Like, Shane has one bad race kind of thing, but it's already, gaps are starting to form. Teams Championship, if you jump on the Supercars website at the moment, I'll put the screen grab up there. Walkinshaw Andretti United are leading the championship, and I guess Triple Eight have been disqualified. So I did see a post about this on Instagram. I cannot find it now. About Walkinshaw Andretti United leading the championship. They are, well, unless something's happened that I don't know about, Triple Eight are actually leading the championship. Walkinshaw second, Team 18 in third. So that's a bit of a surprise there. So that's my review of the Bathurst 500. It's great to have racing back. Once again, of course, we have the usual people complaining about, not enough passing, it's boring, go and watch TCR, because that's just amazing. I thought it was pretty good, other than, maybe Saturday if Shane was kind of out in control because other guys hit the wall. These things happen. I thought the TV people did a pretty good job. Maybe I was a bit quick to knock Charlie. Molly seemed to be a bit better than what she was at TCR. But overall, I would have preferred Rihanna Korean to having those two there. We got a kind of 2-for-1 deal that they'll get better with experience. We got the usual people complaining about Channel 7 coverage. I didn't see it, so I'm not sure. They had a cricketer on there. I don't know if he did a good job or not. Down in the comments, let me know. Let me know what you thought of the racing, all of that kind of stuff. Was I a bit too early with my calls for my predicted top four? Or, at the moment, my top four in the championship are actually sitting in the top six, so I haven't done bad. Frosty was the surprise of the weekend. I did predict big things from Team 18, but I thought it was going to be Pie all the way and not Frosty. So that one's on me. Until next time, I'm still Dave, and I'll catch you later.